Hi everyone, it's me, Arielle, and it's Wednesday Warriors. In this week, I'm going to answer, how can I get help? Where should I look for help? And what kind of help is out there? And I know that we have touched on this before in past videos, but I'm going to be very specific with this video. I'm going to give you a layout of different resources that are at your fingertips. I am primarily going to be focusing on resources that are accessible to Americans, just because that is most what's at my fingertips to be able to provide to you. But if you are from another country, which I know many of you are, I will also post international links and things like that, and try to give you as many different resources and options as I can. There are definitely a couple of sites I want to talk about first. One is ANAD, ANAD.org. I'm going to post the links to everything I mention in the info box and also actually on this video. But first one is ANAD. That's the organization that my group is affiliated with. I know I've talked about this before. It is the National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders. Their website, first of all, is just it's all-encompassing. It gives you resources for therapists, for other professionals. It also gives you all the support groups that are affiliated with them for all of the 50 states. It also has resource people that you can contact. I'm also a resource person for ANAD in addition to being a support group leader. So there's a plethora of things. They also have different awareness features, just different resources about eating disorders in general. You have to go to the website to check it out, but it is very, very informative. The second resource that I wanted to touch on is NEDA, N-E-D-A, and they also have many, many different resources on their website for eating disorders as well. Now, both of these organizations are United States based, but they are so extremely helpful. I mean, I have personally talked to several people at ANAD, for one, just in reference to my group and asking them questions for members of mine and things like that. And they're always extremely helpful. So I can at least vouch for the niceness of those people. And NEDA seems really great too. I'm one of the moderators on a recovery forum called We Bite Back. Website's webiteback.com. It's gotten fairly large. It's a very popular website, and it's international. We have women, men from all walks of life, all ages, from very young, like 13, all the way up to, in their 50s, even older perhaps. But it's a really, really great place to find support. Like I said, there are many different countries represented besides America, the UK, Ireland, Australia, Russia, Germany, just to name a few. So you can check that out if that's more your cup of tea. It tends to be a really great place, especially for people that don't have a lot of support in their real life. So I definitely think that that's a great place. I've personally been a moderator there for almost 3 years now. So if you do join, you can sort of say hi to me. I'll be around making sure everything's safe. And another great resource along those lines is the Joy Project. I'm sure you may have heard of that as well. I'm also going to post numbers for hotlines, because sometimes, if you don't feel like browsing a website, or maybe, it's in the heat of a moment where you're doing really badly, you just need someone to talk to right then and there. So I'm going to post those too. And as far as this question of how can I get help? Well, the first thing that you need to remember is you have to ask for help in order to get help. There are very extreme cases where people are going to see you or hear about you or notice that something is wrong, and they're going to reach out and they're going to offer to help you before you have to ask. But in most cases, you actually have to ask if you want to get help. So you can't be afraid. And even if you are afraid, you can still kind of push past that fear and get the help that you need. I mean, asking for help is one of the scariest things, in regards to eating disorders or in regards to anything else. And I know it was hard for me to ask for help years ago when I was struggling, but I did. And along these lines, one of the places you can ask for help is at a university or a college, where you're attending if you're a college student. If you are a student, you will get those resources for free. It's part of your tuition. It's built right in. So if you don't have anyone else to turn to, you can go to the counseling center at your school and you can have weekly appointments with a therapist. And they will help you one-on-one, hour-long appointments, and it's free. It's completely free. And if your parents are paying for school or they have access to your loans or bills or anything like that, it does not say on there anywhere that you are going to the counseling center for any kind of reason at all. It is not known to anyone but yourself. So it's completely confidential. Take advantage of it if you are a college student. I know a lot of college students either don't realize or they're too afraid. They don't want to take advantage of that resource, but it's really an excellent resource because when you're not in school, you have to pay for something like that. And, it can be astronomical. Sometimes insurance doesn't cover all of it. And it's really great. It's even really great if you're doing other things to get support and to get help. Because I know a lot of times, I had, my university had a pretty good counseling center. But I do know, and I have heard about many colleges and universities that, their counseling centers aren't up to par. They don't offer the kind of help that people with eating disorders really need. But at the very least, they can refer you to someone who can help you. They can try to get you the help that you need. And you're talking to someone. I mean, that's really what it all comes down to. So don't knock it until you try it. If you are a teenager or even younger than a teenager, or if you are a college student, you're still living at home, and if you're in your 20s and you're living at home, do not underestimate the power of your parents. And I know that a lot of the time, letting your parents in on your eating disorder can seem like one of the worst things, and every family dynamic is different. So for all I know, your family dynamic could be one where if you explained your eating disorder, things would be made worse for you. But sometimes people do have supportive parents and they're just afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to speak up if you've had problems in the past your parents are aware of, but you feel as though you're relapsing. If you don't say anything, you're only going to get worse. You have to really use your voice, okay? We can't predict the outcome of anything. You can't predict what's going to happen if you tell your parents that you need help. But at least you're doing something and you're actually trying to make a change. And your parents, if you are still dependent on them, they do have the ability to be able to get you help, more help than you could get on your own. You can look for help, as I said, at a college, at a university, from your parents, from friends, from YouTube. I mean, this entire channel is devoted to helping people with eating disorders or people who know someone with an eating disorder. This channel is a really great place for recovery advice, self-help, tips, resources, links, encouragement, inspiration, motivation, any of those things. I personally have a recovery blog that's self-help if you want to check that out. Had that for a few years. Have a lot of followers and people that comment, so I know it's helping a lot of people. I get plenty of emails regarding it, and I try to put out there what I know works because it's worked for me, and at least try to give encouragement to people that are struggling because, when you've been there, all you want to do is help other people so that they don't have to go through the same heartbreak and hell that you've gone through. I personally have a list of resources that I give out to people that are in my area. I'm in Pennsylvania. I'm in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. If any of you watching this are in the Lehigh Valley, I can give you plenty of resources for therapists, for nutritionists, for groups, things that you might be looking for. You can email me anytime. I will post my email as well. I know it's a long shot, but you never know. We have over 800 subscribers. I also have a few other good websites like ANAD and like NIDA. And I will post the links to those. There's also Beat in the UK, which is also a really great resource. There's plenty of things out there. I mean, there can always be more. That's the bottom line. There can always be more resources for eating disorders, especially in certain countries. But there is a lot out there. If you're willing to look and if you're willing to move forward, there are things that can help you. You just have to take the first step. Those websites will also help you find treatment centers, facilities, residential treatment, intensive outpatient, places like that. You have to remember that you're not alone, and there's always help if you want the help. And if there's any sort of resource that I didn't list here for you that you're interested in, or that you have questions about, or you just have any questions in general about how you can find help in your area or for your specific needs, shoot me an email or post a comment to this video, and I will do my very best to help you out. Hope you have a great week, everyone. Bye.